Because why should I have to pay 20% just because the food is expensive, even though the service isn't 20%?
I don't know, man. That's a good point. I don't know.
Like, shouldn't you pay the tip based on how much work the person did? Like, if this person's like giving me water every 5 to 10 minutes.
Or if she's really hot. If it's a really hot server and she's like flirting with me and getting me going.
Okay, that's a one-off situation. But if they're not hot,
it's good service right there.
Hey, I'm not
she
mad.
She better fuck me off while I'm waiting for my food.
You know, there's a common saying that I say. If something is too expensive, like let's say I go to a bar and it's like $15 for a high noon, I'll usually say, oh, that's great. Does that come with head? Like, why is this $15 for a high noon?
Yeah.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's my saying.
If that's it's like a whole pack of high noons.
Dude, for real, bro. Like, if something's too expensive, like, I'm going to do this one time. I always think about saying it, but I'm like, oh, that's great. Oh, wow. $30 for a hamburger and fries. Wow. Does that come with throat? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's tough. I feel like you're paying for the convenience factor, too. Like, you want it. How much will you pay for it?
But I feel like that's exponentially going up. That's my problem.
Yeah. What is it called? Foodflation.
Foodflation. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they're not putting in as much work. I'm more than okay giving more than 20% tip. As the years go on, it's becoming less and less I'm actually getting good service. I think we're also confusing good service. Good service isn't like, I shouldn't have to flag you down. If I had to flag you down, it's probably not good service. It's probably at the very least like below average service. And if I'm getting below average service, why am I giving you 20%?
Yeah.
And stop with the 20% is average. Because I remember a time when 15% was average. Why did it become 20?
Bro, 20% is a good chunk of what the whole meal costs.
20% is a big chunk.
Yeah, I mean, how come the people in the kitchen don't get tipped? I'm eating the food that they
That's
made.
half of half, bro. That's like...
Yeah, how come just the server, all they have to do is bring the food to you and make sure you have water?
Their service, what they do is already like being paid for. Anything extra should be the tip. So, for example, them bringing the food is not really the tip because that's what they do. That's their job.
Yeah.
Like them serving the waters every 5-10 minutes, that's something that should be taken into consideration with the tip. If they're not doing that, why are you giving the tip?
Yeah.
Like, honestly. Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You owe me a soda. But like,
only if you tip me.
If they're just bringing you food, and like seriously, if they're just bringing you food and they're not doing anything extra, I'll go a step further. Why do they deserve a tip? If they're not checking in with you, if they're not filling up your waters, what are they doing extra to deserve the tip?
No, that's a no-brainer. I completely agree. Then no tip. You got to provide good service.
And I hate the people that say, oh, well, it should already be implied when you go in the restaurant that you should bring the tip. Oh, you're just broke because... I'm like, bro, I'm not going to eat homemade meals my entire life. And I have the money to pay for the food itself. This middleman over here is extra. I don't need this guy.
Yeah.
This just forced upon me by the establishment.
Yeah.
This middleman, this little guy right here that's 18 years old going to college, this guy don't need him.
Yeah.
Shoo. Go away.
Yeah.
He's not required. He's not necessary. So to those people that say that, you're just dumb. You're not very intelligent.
Yeah.
But
I got a lot of tips from providing people valuable pieces of information.
Yeah.
So back when I used to be an Uber driver, I would tell people that were from out of town, like, hey, what are you doing out here? What do you like to do? And I would tell them like what bars and restaurants to go to. And all
you're providing something extra.
Yeah.
Something that you didn't need to do.
Yeah. I feel like I was creating value. But I'll tell you this, the people that tipped the most were always the out-of-towners. And they wouldn't tip me. Like, if I didn't really talk to them, I wouldn't really get a tip. But I always made sure, like, I'd ask them, like, hey, does the AC feel good? Hey, do you want to, like, I'd put on some good music for them. I would get there in a timely manner. Like, I'd drive quick. You know, most taxi drivers, I feel like, are just kind of slow. And I would also tell them, like, what bars and restaurants to go to. That was usually the stuff that got me the tips.
Right. Like, if an Uber driver doesn't talk to me the entire ride, granted, I could also start the conversation. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't ask for anything, why should I give him a tip? I'm already paying for, and I guess it's maybe not politically correct to say that. I'm like, oh, you should always tip. But why if they're not giving anything extra? They're not providing anything extra of value. If they just pick me up, don't say anything and take me to my destination, I shouldn't have to pay the money other than the service itself, which is what I've already paid, because that's how the ride got there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm going a step further. You shouldn't have to pay. Like, why? If you're not giving anything extra of value, you shouldn't have to pay.
Yeah. So do you tip pretty often?
I'll be honest, because of, it's become so standard to tip. But usually I just pay, anywhere between 15 and 20%. Nothing more.
Really?
Because
I don't think it's about
to
the amount.
be quite frank, no one does above average service. No one.
Yeah. I feel like it's the thought that counts,
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll just do like $2, But I feel like they see that and they go, sweet, another $2.
Like for a high noon, right? Let's say I get like a $6 high noon. I'll slip in like $1 or $2, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But, and I take a lot of things into consideration. If they don't talk to me, or if they're just kind of like not really getting to me, they're not really checking in on me. Let's say I'm at a bar. Let's say the bartender is not very high. Okay. All right. I'm taking that into consideration too. You're getting a below average tip. Mm-hmm. Different factors come into play. I'll give them this. The older generations, they kind of know that in their mind. Like, okay, they take it into account. Like all the older gentlemen with money, okay, like, why should I give you a good tip? Like, I'm not just going to give you a good tip for no reason. You need to talk to me. You need to butter me up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. You got to butter them up a little bit. Got to get them excited. I'll tell you this. The people that tip to me the most, like some people, we just have such a good conversation, Just like, yeah. I guess it makes people feel good. And some people would just thank me. They'd be like, thank you. Like, for what? For just the conversation?
Yeah.
Because they're already paying me to get them there. I guess
because in their mind, you did something extra of value.
I guess. I think
it's subjective, but I also think it's also objective too.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You know what? When you're traveling to a new place, you're so excited. You're like,
yeah.
Like, imagine this. You just get out the airport in a new country that you're traveling to. Like, yeah, you're going to talk to the taxi driver. You're like, what up, bro? I just got out here. What should I do? And if the taxi driver is like, I don't know. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Or like, let's say like my phone doesn't have any battery. That's something like, oh yeah, I have a battery.
Yeah.
I have a charger. Awesome. Yeah. Or like, let's say they help me out with something like, want to watch, like those extra things subjectively, like that's something extra of value in my opinion. You just need to do something of value. I feel like the waiter should be checking in every, depending 5 to 10 minutes, more so 5 minutes. I just don't like it when like people that are not working at restaurants ask for a tip when they just flip it over and they're like, all right, give me a tip for doing nothing basically.
Yeah, that's just BS, honestly. I hate when the tip is built in there. It's like, bruh, come on. That means you're not paying your employees enough. Maybe if you paid your employees well, then they wouldn't have to fucking grind for tips.
Yeah.
Although, I guess that's the point. They got to grind for the tip. I don't know, man. I like when they voluntarily want to grind for the tip. They're like, I'm about this. I'm trying to get my money up.
But I think it's created this culture in the food industry or in the service industry where they don't need to work hard to get a tip since everyone just assumes that 20% is going to go to them no matter what. And so I can even remember back in high school, I got a lot better service back then till now. Now I'm just getting below average service.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I make the mistake of giving them a 20% tip.
I feel like I'm just being lied to. They say like this is the price of the food and then there's like a tip built in. And it's like, hey, that was never, I guess it wasn't disclosed to me in the beginning.
And you kind of feel guilty. It's like they flip it over and they kind of look at you like, oh, like do whatever you want. And I'm like, it's not what I want right here. I don't want to give you a tip for flipping this keyboard over or this iPad over. And also, why is it that the price of the food, like let's say, I'm trying to give a good example of like food that's expensive but very minimal service. Because